Hello. So here we are today with Miss Sandra Lotan, who I have known for more than a minute. Our
Mhm.
lives cross paths in the most incredible way, which you're going to learn a little bit more about her, why she chose to join our Worthy Collective and what she's working on. And she is such an inspiration. And when you meet people, I will never forget the place in which I was in my house, not even where I'm at right now, so many years ago. Actually, I think was it 24 years ago? I feel like it was in 2000, no. 2003. We should have probably talked.
3, yeah, 2002, something like that.
Yeah, I think it was 2000. So then that would have been 22 years ago. She was a referral from one of my customers in Mary Kay that became a team member, Pam.
Yep.
And I remember sitting at my desk in the corner of our basement that was not finished. That place where you sit and it's super cold. And this is back in the day with a real phone. And I remember sitting there thinking, like chills all over my body. I was like, I love this woman. Where has she been all my life? I remember we had the most amazing conversation, and then the rest was history. We got to work together in Mary Kay, and it was incredible. It was an incredible, very memorable time in life. So, Miss Sandra Lotan is going to share more about her. I'm going to guide some questions. She's part of our community, and today is a community spotlight on her. So, so first we'll start with the question is, more about you, what you've overcome. You get to share as much or as little as you want because I know your stories, and your journeys. So, what would you like to share that would be most inspiring to others?
Mm. I could start with Brianna. That's my biggest. So Brianna is my youngest daughter. She is 32 years old now. But Megs, when I met you, she was 11,
She was Lucy's
and
age.
she was so little. So she had a tumor, unfortunately. Not anything that could have really been diagnosed, but it ruptured and created her paralysis. So at 11 years old, our whole lives changed. It's kind of like we went through the grieving process because we lost something. We had to learn how to deal with it. Um, but
So, explain that because if
through
somebody doesn't realize that paralysis, like, what was that like? like, Share because up to that point she was very like she was active and she didn't, like how did that all come about?
she was an all-star cheerleader. I mean, we traveled the United States and competed that with her older sister as well. So yeah, she was an athlete, very active. So she was at practice one night and her back hurt. I got the phone call. We ended up in the ER, and we thought it was a torn muscle or things like that, right? It wasn't. It was a tumor. It was non-cancerous, so that was our first blessing. And she was in the hospital a very short time for her diagnosis, because she was an athlete. Her body responded quickly to her PT and OT, so we it happened December 4th, and we were home Christmas Eve.
Mm.
So she wasn't in the hot. To me, it seemed like an eternity, but we went through some surgery. We did not know at the time that she would never be able to walk again. So there's that hope every day. This is the day. Is this the day? What are we going to do? We did everything to the max to support her because I didn't want to miss a day. And I don't live in Michigan anymore, but when I did, it was one of the worst winters we had. And I lived in Macomb Township and drove to William Beaumont in Royal Oak in some of the nastiest blizzards I swear we had that year. White knuckled, and we went every day. And I remember one of the nurses said, "Why didn't you just cancel today?" And I said, "But what if today's the day she walks? Gotta be here. Gotta go. We'll get there." So unfortunately she's never gonna walk again. But you know what though? God totally has plans. We found out she had a beautiful voice and very musically talented. And to this day, she's the director of music at a private school in Virginia. She's directed professionally in the theaters in Virginia. She has her master's in vocal pedagogy, and it's amazing from that horrible, horrible day to where she is today. So, and it's everyday hope, everyday prayer. And you eventually some prayers get answered, maybe not the way you would like them to be answered, but really for the best. So would I've liked her to walk? Of course, but then she wouldn't have found out she could play the piano like she taught herself. She can sing. She plays the ukulele. Her fourth graders do ukuleles because she doesn't like recorders. I mean, you know how every fourth grader does nope, hers do ukuleles. So it's that in itself has been a journey. I don't wish on anyone, but it's been an incredible journey. She met her husband. Like she wouldn't have done all of that had she walked. She'd been a different path. Mm-hmm. So, but it definitely something I wish upon no one to go through, because something that's wrong with your child. I mean, Megs, you know that you lived it with Lucy. You just don't want that on anyone. But what you grow and what you learn from all of that, not in the moment, definitely not in the moment, but years later or whatnot, months later, whatever, whenever God decides to reveal those answers to you, you're like, oh, okay, like I'm good with that. Not that he needs our permission to be good with that, but your soul settles like, oh, okay, I get this, and you just move on. So I mean, it still stinks, but
yeah, well,
she's doing great.
Oh, she's incredible. And actually, I know she's home, so I just thought of a couple of things that I had shared with a client, and it was like this chicken scratch diagram that I did, and I was like, I think I need to call Brianna because this looks like crap. And like my vision and my attention to creativity and that is not what it used to be, yet I can shift into somebody it is good with. So
Right.
it's good. So helpful. And I think I'm gonna put a spot right there that what I recognize in the deep amount of work that I've done and I keep pursuing, I think we get the lesson when we're meant to get the lesson, yet when our awareness is heightened and we're consistent, I think we find what's for us in such special ways. And you're right that kiddos, like our path with Declan in choosing a AAA hockey team that we knew were losing, I immediately as a mom was like, game on. It's gonna suck. It's gonna suck to lose. But you know what? There's so much more to losing. If you can learn how to lose, you win in ways that you will never, ever imagine. And that's exactly what happened to Brianna. Like what we think is a value is walking because we all do it. We were born and we're
Right.
stumbling to learn how to do it. And then she pivoted in such an inspirational way that I am sure, just as you're telling me all that she's done, physically done, mentally done in with wheels and not legs, how many people she's defied their excuses.
Oh, for sure.
Because we sit into excuses every day. I can't do that because of this. I can't do that because of this. Like you couldn't drive to the hospital in the nurse's eyes. Don't do that. And you're like, no, 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 no. You don't know who I am. Like I'm doing this. It sucked. White knuckles. And then you're just like, God, really? The worst.
Yeah.
Could we not have a summer winter? Some
Right.
sunshine, right? And so you literally like your experience was your experience from here, and then Brianna's was from here. You know what I mean? Like how you plowed through the situation and that reflection is so incredible. Such an amazing story. And I was trying to remember what season did I meet you? If that was in December, what year was that?
Ooh.
Well, that would have been
And then
20,
four.
That's 21 years ago.
2003. We hadn't been in the new house very long at all. And
Okay.
then I think I met you in this. I remember I went, it was June or July. I remember that in my notes about becoming a director because it was after Brianna and I was home and I didn't work and I needed something for me. And I went to Tony's party and I'm like, sure, I'll go. Why not? And then the rest was history. It was great. It was very magical, exactly what I needed when I needed it. I
And
think, or was it the other way around? Did I meet you before and build it and then Brianna? I don't
no,
remember.
no, no,
It's been
I
a long.
remember I was at my desk and I believe I heard, and what was so instrumental for me is to hear about the after, because I wasn't at the hospital with you. I didn't, otherwise I would have been. I don't believe that I even
But
knew.
I thought, yeah,
I want to say it was after.
no, I think it was. I think it was after where I needed something for me, and I thought it would be kind of fun to do.
I know. Yeah, you
So,
jumped in. And I don't remember, did you really wear makeup?
I did back then. I don't
Yeah.
so much now anymore.
Well, I
Okay,
was just trying to remember because I just remember like there were a lot of things for you to be like, well, this doesn't normally make sense. But it was one of those where you're open. You were absolutely open. Meaning, my meaning was like you weren't like glamour girl, crazy, whatever. So the makeup company
no,
didn't seem like the complete, like, oh, that's logical. That was my point. Like it wasn't the complete,
no, no, it
it was just a series of little placements that you were like,
was fun.
and the application of what you could put into it because you're such a builder of others. Yeah, so awesome. Okay, next question is why did you decide to join our Worthy Collective?
To be honest, from my heart, I missed working with you. Just being, I did. I know that's, I don't know if that's really a reason, but I have always enjoyed working with you no matter what. Like, you just always say the right things. You're so supportive of others. You always make sure everybody gets what they need. And, finding that in a friend is very rare. And so, from Mary Kay to that food thing we did to eyelashes to I don't even know what all, but this is just it's a little bit more meaty because it involves God so much more and he's such a strong part of my life. And again, to find people with that kind of faith and that kind of vision and journey, it's hard. You can know a lot of people, but doesn't mean you connect. And I think we connect from the soul. So definitely wanted to be a part of this. And now I've moved again. So just to keep that warmth, in my life because, I finally made friends in South Carolina and we moved. So now I'm here in North Carolina with nothing. So which is fine. I'm not nothing, but it's another thing to start over. And so I think with the Worthy Collective, the women there, and for sure for you, it's that warmth that I'm missing, or that little piece to fill the gap.
Um, how about I'm going to give you a word. I just got the chills when you said it. You said, and you don't, what was it that you just said? And you have nothing.
Well, and I corrected myself because I
No,
have
you
a
did. You
lot.
did. You absolutely did. And you have nothing yet. Because when I know you, when I know what you're saying is, and this is such, and I'm making a point about this for whomever watches this, that it's nothing. Like you caught yourself because you're like, oh my gosh, I have heat, I have water. And you didn't have that for a minute because you're building a house and it froze. And
Right.
there's like all these little things that it's not about the nothing. But when you come to a place when you had something, it is nothing. It really is. I mean, like, you don't have the women's group that's 5 minutes away. You don't have the Bible study. You don't have the group, the community yet.
Right, yet.
Yet.
Yeah,
And but it
that's
is
a big
nothing. Like it
deal.
is an acknowledgement. Like so many people, like words matter so much so, and you caught yourself, which is powerful because you see, well, we have a lot more than nothing. But I know what you're saying, and I want to point that out because there's so many people who don't know me, and there's so many people who are like, is she for real? I mean, I've gotten my whole entire life. Is she really that happy? It's a freaking choice. It really is. But when you make that
It,
conscious choice, it does happen. It does. And when you're around people who fill your soul, it just exudes more. And you're like,
it
oh, I can
does.
be
It
silly
fuels
and
it.
crazy. Oh, I can, I can be myself. Can I be sad? Yeah, sure. Like you said, you keep shifting because what I want people to know is that that situation with Brianna was life altering
Absolutely.
in every possible way. And I'm going to say it here. I'm not sure if Brianna's going to watch this, um, or Aubrey or Pat. It doesn't matter. It wasn't about that. But what I'm going to say is it's who you showed up to be as to where Brianna has chosen to go because you chose to
Right. It's all
celebrate
choices.
each moment in faith and opening opportunity for hope and choices, and you kept pivoting as a mom. Did you crumble? I'm sure you cried in the parking lot more times than any of us even want to fathom. I'm sure you pulled over on the side of the road a couple of times and asked God to clear your path because the snow, the darkness sucked.
Yeah.
And I know right now, the darkness that's happening where you live at 5 o'clock is a different kind of darkness. And
Mhm.
that's something I've literally talked to Lucy about the other day. She's like, why does it feel like it's 9 o'clock at night? I'm like, gosh, I know. I know. And
Yep.
it's the season of winter and when it's cold and all these things. But I want to say right here, it's who you showed up to be as to giving permission to Brianna to keep moving. It is. You were her example. I'm sure she heard the nurses say, Sandy, you could have stayed home. Sandy, why are you here? And I'm sure plenty of nurses called off that lived 10 minutes away because the
Probably.
snow was too bad. And you were like, I'm going to defy you all. And here I am because you're motivated by challenges. That's also why you sit here in a space moving locations. And you guys, the story about how she and her husband are where they are in North Carolina, moving from the South. Do I have it right? You moved from the South.
She's in Virginia,
Well, but you moved from South Carolina,
Michigan to South Carolina, now North Carolina.
right? So in that move
Yep.
and that transfer now, the blessings that have come because she and her husband have been in prayer for opportunities and they're praying right now to have their house sell. So if you're a praying person watching this, I don't care where you are, when you are, how you are, if you want to pray over the Lotan family selling their house, if you guys have ever sold a house, you know that like, woo, what's going on here? And it's the holiday, it's all these things. And you're like, and so she said earlier, not on record, where she's like, oh, dang. God, I know you have a buyer for us and it's going to be amazing. Sooner than later would be really, really, really nice. We've all been there, right? Like it's
Oh,
the truth of the truth. And so I want to let you know that and I'll keep letting you know that because I will never forget. And that's why I said I didn't know you through that process because I remember hearing and just going,
I think it was after because I know at the conferences and stuff, you always made me speak about it. you
well,
know?
when you go through something, it is not for the lack of purpose. It's for the blessings that come from it. It's not to us, it's for us. And Brianna is such a tribute to she found her voice amongst a tragedy, a tragedy, strat,
Strategy.
yeah, say that again.
Dramatic situation. That's
Dramatic
easier.
situation. Couldn't say that word. In her body and found her voice. Like that could be a book. I found my voice.
Yeah, for sure.
It's
Well,
so
I've noticed though, out of things that happen that are really, really bad, good things come. So are they really, really bad? It's all about perspective. You know, someone asked me once, "Are you mad at God for doing this?" I'm like, God did not do it. He didn't do this to her. I don't blame him. As a matter of fact, I wouldn't have survived every day without him. He's the one that made it non-cancerous. He's the one that gave us the strength to drive through the snow, to go through all the PTOT, where she was struggling. And now, it's a mindset.
The choice, 100% choice.
Yeah.
Just like you've been talking about the different choices you're maneuvering through right now, right here in the midst of change, and how you and Pat are coming together and you're like, like your dog just said, like, we're doing this.
Potty time.
Oh my gosh. So awesome. Okay. So last but not least, other than praying over the sale of your house, what are you most excited about going forward and building of your new house?
Well, yes, I'm excited. It's a smaller home. So we're downsizing. We don't need a lot. No one needs a lot. Trust me. If you could learn that in your 30s, you'd be good. But none of us do. Um, I'm just really looking at a more simple life and just spending the rest of it with Pat. Like he is my soulmate. So we've been together now 42 years. Long time. 42 years. I know,
So,
right?
okay, after
And
42 years, this is a bonus for everyone. Maybe we'll have to do another interview on this one. 42 years later in marriage. And so what would you say is your greatest tip for everyone in relationships?
I I honestly 100% believe that you have to put God first. You have to have a God-fearing Christian man, and you have to be one as well. You have to just love the Lord, and He'll take care of you. He teaches you how to communicate, He teaches you how to compromise, He teaches you love. Like, it's just all about Him. And He's been in our lives since day one. And, we've been through a lot. And we keep standing. We just keep checking it off and keep going forward. But I really feel that, and I don't mean that, attending church every Sunday and doing all that stuff, because that's checking the boxes. I mean, having a personal relationship that He is first in your life, because He will take care of you.
I believe when the mission statement of sharing that, and I think this was at the party that you had said, Mary Kay's mission was God first, family second, career third. And you were like, I'm in.
Yep.
I remember going, oh, yay! Because that's a spot. I remember in my business that people would go, I don't get it. I'm like, you don't have to get it. That's okay. But when you
Yeah.
are around people who do get it, your life can change.
Yes. It
Opportunities are incredible in among us in ways that we could never imagine. In my book, I don't know if I can find it. I don't know if I can find it. I might. Hold on. Oh, I think it is right here. Oh, this was in day 55. The week or the 10 days were blessing blockers, and the message was facts. Here is a boy with 5 small barley loaves and 2 small fish, but how far will they go among so many? And if you know the story in the Bible, God multiplied. He multiplied nothing well, not nothing. He multiplied the bread to feed thousands. The
right. We
fish,
have overs.
he has endless resources. And if we can tap in, we can be blessed. But when we choose not to and we're too busy, we miss and block a blessing.
We do.
So good. So I love and adore you. I'm so grateful that you chose in. You're such an inspiration. And it would be pretty cool. Maybe we could do something with Miss Brianna, maybe over the holiday, maybe a Zoom, and she could share her message because her story obviously is one in yours and is such an inspiration.
Oh,
It's,
sure. And she's off to the first of the year.
well, that would be incredible. That would
Yep.
be. And
They
I
put her on
need to,
term disability, so I'm sure she's bored.
well, I could use your help with some stuff.
She,
I'm gonna message her. So
so,
thank you for your precious time. I'm so
thank
grateful.
you,
And
dear.
I'm hoping I get to see you again soon. I know when you came up to Michigan the one time with JoJo. Oh, and I love how the memories will pop up. I'm like,
Oh, that was so fun. Well, my sister-in-law just bought a condo in Rochester Hills
oh, okay.
in Kings Cove. I mean, I don't know if anybody knows where that is, but it's off of Tinkin.
Okay.
Um, so it's out that way. And we have keys to it. She said we could use it whenever we want. So we'll be
Oh,
coming back to
yay.
you.
Well, good. Well, I can also tell you that with Lori, Tamara, and Stacy, my guides who are part of the Worthy Collective, we're literally in the midst right now of creating some women's retreats. Like I was asking you all the questions about your women's group locally because that's on my agenda. But bigger than that, what I missed the most about Mary Kay and what I treasured was something in January, something in March, something in the summer, something in the fall. Like a
Yes.
little mini getaway because I realized that I would go to those. Sometimes I would go for my marriage. Sometimes I would go for parenting. Sometimes I would go for my business. Sometimes I would go because I needed a new scenery. And having a place like that, I think is such a treasure and it kept me going. And I want to put that back in place. So I'm probably going to lean into you on that one because you are so gifted in the organization side of like fun and thought process and all of your moves. You realize there's some places you have found what you love. And then there's that times when you're like, where are humans? Like where can you create that connection? And this right here is better than nothing, but it's not like hugging someone and giving them a squeeze.
Well,
So
we always need to refuel. That's what I took those seminars for, to refuel and to refresh. So yeah, we definitely have to add those.
yeah, I've been like creating some different like I'm gonna do so my Saturday mornings are my refuel, refresh my guides because they can't teach on Sundays without having their cup filled. And so I'm doing something tomorrow with them that I was like, I'm gonna wait. And then I was like, no, we're gonna do this because we do it together first and then we bring it to the group. And I'm like, oh, this is like it's one of those where I'm like, oh, how have I been on this earth this long and never done this activity? And it's such a time as this to do that activity that can make a difference through all things. So we're going to master it first ourselves and then share it. So you can look forward to that coming.
Awesome. I can't wait.
Well, thank you for your precious time. I love and adore you.
I love you too, dear. Have a good one.
Thanks, honey. You too.
Hi.